welcome to Turn the Page, the official podcast of the Syosset Public Library.
Hello, everybody. This is Evelyn Hershkowitz, Reader Services Librarian at the Syosset Public Library, and this is Turn the Page. Today we have with us Carley Fortune. Carley is a #1 New York Times and #1 Globe and Mail bestselling author of Meet Me at the Lake and Every Summer After. Her books have sold more than 1 million copies worldwide. Carley's third novel, This Summer Will Be Different, comes out May 7th, 2024. Carley is an award-winning journalist and works as an editor at some of Canada's top publications, including the Globe and Mail, Toronto Life, and the much-beloved, now-defunct weekly paper, The Grid. She was most recently the executive editor of Refinery 29 Canada. Carley holds a Bachelor of Journalism from Toronto Metropolitan University. Carley spent her young life in the suburbs of Sydney, Australia, and in Barry's Bay, a teeny lakeside town in rural Ontario, and the setting for Every Summer After. She lives in Toronto with her husband and 2 sons. So, Carley, thank you so much for joining us, and we're going to talk today about your book, This Summer Will Be Different, which comes out on May 7th, and let me tell you, it was my favorite of your books. I think
Thank you.
it's so great. I absolutely loved the relationship between Lucy and Felix and Lucy and Bridget, their great friendship. So tell everybody what the book's about.
Sure. And I'm so happy to be having this conversation with you. The book is about Lucy, who lives in Toronto and travels to Prince Edward Island on vacation just ahead of her best friend's arrival, her best friends from Prince Edward Island. And on Lucy's first day there, she has quite a magical hookup with one of the locals from the island. And the next day, his name is Felix. The next day, they find out that Felix is Lucy's best friend's brother. And so this is bad for all sorts of reasons. And they make a pact. They're not going to tell Lucy's best friend. They're not going to tell Bridget. And it's never going to happen again. They'll never repeat this mistake again. And Lucy and Bridget travel back to Prince Edward Island every year for their girls' trip. And Lucy and Felix just can't help falling back into bed together. They're very drawn together. And the idea is like feelings are kind of out of it. Like it's just a physical thing and it's no big deal until this most recent trip to Prince Edward Island. Bridget has fled the city just before her wedding, escaped to Prince Edward Island, has asked Lucy to come out there, not telling Lucy what's going on. And Lucy and Felix have to kind of figure out what is going on with Bridget, but in the process realize that there is a lot more than just a physical relationship that has grown between them. And so they're trying to kind of figure out all these complicated emotions and keep away from each other. And yeah, that's the story.
It's just done so well. And I want to go to Prince Edward Island.
Oh, you must. You must. It is a wonderful, wonderful place.
I just love everything about it. It sounds like, everything about it just sounds magnificent.
Are you an Anne of Green Gables fan?
No, I've never read that.
Oh my goodness.
That's Prince Edward Island too?
That's Prince Edward Island. That is your homework. That is your homework. You must read Anne of Green Gables.
Okay.
It is.
Yeah, I've never read it.
You have to.
Okay. But I just fell in love with Prince Edward Island. It just sounds like
yeah, I'm so glad.
I won't go in the winter. It sounds like a summer place to be, but
yes, it is very much a summer place to be. It is it's a beautiful island. It's very green. There's like gorgeous, gorgeous beaches. And it just is like nowhere else. Like you cannot have bad food. The people are so nice. There's like the most incredible seafood, and it's very small. Like it's a very, very small island and not a lot of population, but it truly is a magical place on the east coast of Canada.
Okay. How far is it from Toronto?
You can get from Toronto to PEI in 2 hours on a plane, 2.5 hours. The drive is like 15 hours because you can't drive out there. And if you live in Maine, like if you're kind of up on that kind of like northeast in the
Yeah.
States, it's not that far. It's like you can drive
Oh,
easily
okay.
too. Yeah, yeah.
Well, you're
Uh,
better off staying in the United States and going straight up.
yes. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Or just get on a plane.
Yeah, or get on a plane, or get on a plane.
That'll
Yes.
make it
But a
much
lot of
easier.
Canadians, when they drive, if you drive out from like west from Toronto, or a lot of Canadians like to dip into the US on their way to the East
Oh,
Coast
okay.
for a little like fun kind of road trip. So the
Okay.
geography kind of works out.
Sounds good. I'm gonna put that on my list. I definitely would like to go there.
Good. I'm so glad.
Yeah. So you've had a book a year.
I have.
That's
Yeah.
so exciting. And they're all hitting the bestseller list. And I mean, it's
Knock
how is
on
your
wood,
life?
the first two did.
How
Yeah.
is this one will too, because this one's fabulous. How
Thank
has
you.
your life changed in the last few years?
Oh gosh. uh Well, it's completely different from what it was before I started writing Every Summer After. So when I wrote my first book, Every Summer After, I was working. So I wrote that in the early hours of the morning and on the weekends when my husband would take our son to the park. And now I write full time. I left my job at Refinery 29 and I write full time. So I'm at home all the time. I don't have colleagues anymore, which I do miss very much. But yeah, and just last year was the first year I went on on a book tour, because when Every Summer After came out, the tours still weren't really happening with COVID. And seeing the readers for the first time and meeting the readers and seeing how much the books have affected them was really quite something, because for me, it you do know that people are reading your work, obviously, because you get all this feedback from them, but to see the people and see and hear how your work has impacted them has really been something for me. And yeah, it's funny because I have two sons, and my oldest is 7 and my youngest is 3. And I was thinking about how they will never know a life where I wasn't a writer, like an
Yes,
author.
yes.
And I was a journalist for 16 years before that, but like for them, it's always going to be this. And it's so interesting to me because my career has been so clearly divided into two acts so far anyway.
Are you recognized anywhere?
I have been, yeah,
Mhm.
in Toronto, I have been, which is wild. I took my son to the Toronto Symphony Orchestra does these children's events where they will do the music for a movie, and they will play the movie and they will do the music. So I took him to see the symphony performance of Home Alone,
Okay.
and which was wonderful. And during intermission, he and I were having a snack, and somebody came up to us and was, "Are you Carley Fortune?" And it's happened before, but and sometimes with my sons there, and my son is trying to figure out. He's like, "Are you famous?" I said, "I'm really not," but like, don't think that, please, because it's not true. But Toronto's a
In the book world, you are. You are definitely famous in the book world. There's no doubt about it. Anyone who sells more than 1 million copies of a book is famous. It's just you don't really see authors. It's not like a TV star or, you know,
yeah,
unless you're
yeah.
out there interviewing all the time.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. It's true.
It's a little different fame, but you are definitely famous.
Don't tell my son that. I'm trying to keep that from him.
Okay. Well, how do you come up with your ideas? Is this one
My
based on anybody you know? Some will be
Yeah,
different.
yeah, sort of. My ideas for all three books, the ideas have started with the setting. All three. When I was writing Every Summer After, and I had this feeling like this is what I want to be doing with my life, writing books. I like back then I was like, I want to write something that's set on Prince Edward Island. And with this book, I had all these ideas for my third book. I was trying to hack how to write a book and how to come up with the perfect book pitch. So I had three very like carefully thought out pitches. And when we started talking about them with my editor, none of them were quite right. And then I was like, okay, I have this other book idea. but when I tell it to you, like you're gonna want me to write it, and I'm not sure I want to write it. And it was basically Prince Edward Island, best friends, girls trip. That was the entire idea. And of course, my editor really wanted me to go down that road because Prince Edward Island has so much romance around it, like girls trip. But my best friend and I took a girls trip to Prince Edward Island when we were in our early 20s. And Meredith, my best friend, has family on Prince Edward Island. And nothing like in the book happened, but it was the first time we had been on a vacation together. We stayed with her aunt in Summerside, one of the cities in PEI, and we rented a car and we drove all around the island. We would only eat seafood. We went to the Canadian Oyster Shucking Championship in Pine Valley.
Which plays a big part in the book, everybody.
Which plays a huge part in the book, and it stuck with me. The place stuck with me so much, and I really wanted to go back there for this book. So I traveled 2 more times back to Prince Edward Island. So that's where the idea came from, was this trip with Meredith that I took.
Yeah, no, I got to get up there.
You do.
Sounds wonderful. It really does. Sounds like a great place to be. I look forward to it. So now what is your writing life like? You spend all your days writing?
Pretty much. I just handed in the first draft of my 4th book, so I have a little reprieve.
Okay.
But yeah, so the kids leave in the morning, and then I write from 8 o'clock until they come home at 4:30, basically. And I take a break to eat and get some exercise, but I'm very like heads down, treat it like a desk job kind of writer, because I love to work, honestly. I really do love to work.
So are you a planner, or do you fly by the seat of your pants? Do you have an outline?
I don't have an outline. I don't know if that's served me well or not. The book that I'm working on now, the 4th book, I did a lot more planning going into it than I did with my previous books, because we went to like 8 drafts with This Summer Will Be Different. And the book and at the end, like the last few drafts were minor changes. And each time the book really did take leaps forward, but ideally that's too many drafts. And so tried to do some of the like more like figuring out the characters more at the beginning, and like what the real kind of like questions were driving the story, but not an outline. Like I don't chapter outline. I like having, I would get bored. I get bored very easily. And I like that sense of discovery in writing that sometimes comes. So, and I just don't think my brain could outline. I think I'd get stuck.
Okay. Well, they're all great books, so whatever you're doing, keep it up. I don't think there's anything wrong with that outlining. But 8 drafts is a lot. And you wrote the book in like less than a year?
Yeah, I did. Yes. And it was a really hard year personally, on a personal front. My husband is a teacher, and so he's taking a sabbatical this year because last year was so challenging. My kids, when they went back to school and daycare full time after the pandemic, they were sick every single week. We had 3 weeks. We had 3 weeks between between September and April, where they weren't sick. Only 3 weeks, and I was sick all the time.
Yeah.
I was in a car accident. My mother-in-law was diagnosed with cancer and went through very hard chemotherapy, and it was a very hard year in which you can't parent and write at the same time. It's especially with like sick small children.
Yeah.
And so I think my writing, like it was partly I just like needed to get to a place like where my life wasn't so hard in order to finish This Summer Will Be Different. And writing the book was a total pleasure. Like it was so fun to write, but it was just like I had so much going on personally that made getting headspace difficult.
Of course, of course. Well, I'm
Yeah.
glad you were able to do it and do it so well. So
Thank you.
that's
Thank
wonderful.
you.
Hope
Oh,
everybody's okay.
my mother-in-law is doing very, very well.
Oh,
So
that's wonderful. I'm glad to
yes,
hear that.
yes.
That's really good. That's really good. And the kids are okay?
Oh, they're monsters, but they're okay.
So you did, I mean, you put one of your books in Barry's Bay. You had
Yes.
Meet Me at, no, Every Summer After was
Barry's Bay. Yep.
Barry's Bay, which you grew up in. That also seems like a wonderful place to be.
It is. It is. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It is very green, lots of rolling hills and woods and so many lakes. Barry's Bay is this tiny town. It's 1,200 people.
Wow.
Um, and it kind of explodes in the summer because there are all these cottagers that come and have cottages on the lake, so they come in the summer. And there's also Algonquin Provincial Park, which is this massive wilderness park in Ontario, huge, which has camping and hiking trails, and it's like one of our most famous parklands in Canada. It attracts tourists from all over the world, and they come through Barry's Bay to go to the park. So Barry's Bay really transforms in the summer, and it is a really special place.
And in the book, there's restaurants. Did you work in a restaurant when you were in
I
Barry?
did. Yeah. So there's the restaurant in the book, the Tavern, is inspired by a real restaurant, the town over, called the Wilno Tavern, which is a Polish restaurant. Um, my parents had a restaurant in Barry's Bay and an inn in Barry's Bay, which I worked at as a kid. So yes, that's very much. And then in Meet Me at the Lake, there was a resort. So I grew up in that kind of like
Oh, okay.
hospitality
Right.
business. Yes. Yeah.
Do you miss it?
No, it's a really hard restaurants and hospitality is rough. It's rough.
Being an author is much more pleasurable, huh?
Oh yeah. Yeah, no. I do not miss cleaning rooms or waiting tables at all. I do like one of the wonderful things though about the inn and the restaurant was that you do over many, many years develop relationships with the customers and they become like family and definitely close friends. And that's really, really special for sure. But the work itself is very it's hard work. It's hard work.
Absolutely. No doubt about it. So are you going on a book tour for this book?
I am, yes. I'm going in May. I'm doing my first leg in May. I have a stop in Brooklyn.
Okay. Which store are you going to?
The Rip Bodice.
Okay, very nice. They just
Um,
recently opened, so this is
they
their
did. Yeah,
second
yes.
store. Uh-huh.
And so I do my first leg is in May, and then the second leg is in June. And I'll do more kind of like a bit more West Coast. Haven't gone out to the West Coast for tour yet.
Okay.
Um, yeah. So I
Is your book launch at the Rip Bodice?
yeah, that's
Very nice.
on
May
May
7th.
7th itself.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exciting. Very nice.
Yeah.
Well, you'll be down this way. Unfortunately, I don't get to Brooklyn too often, but I
Yeah.
wish I did.
You'll be there in spirit.
Okay, thanks. Well, hopefully my niece who loves you and was with us the last time,
Yes.
she's want to introduce me to you. Hopefully I'll let her know that you'll be there on May 7th. She lives in the city, so maybe it
Oh,
won't be too
perfect.
hard
Yeah,
for her to get
no, I would
to
love to
Brooklyn.
see her.
Yeah.
Yes. No, that would be so great to see her. She was like one of my earliest fans, I think.
Yes, she loves
Um,
you. And
she was. I'm thinking about making it a sleepover theme, like because it's like this such a friendship story. So I'm
right.
considering wearing pajamas.
That's a great idea. Kelly Ripa went to Andy Cohen's show in pajamas the other day, they said.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the pajamas were like $1,200.
Oh, I don't have $1,200 pajamas.
I think that's what they were. They were like ridiculously expensive pajamas, you know, but that's okay. She could afford it. So there
Yes.
have been, are you a audiobook person?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I haven't listened to this on audiobook yet. So when the audiobook comes out, I'm definitely gonna have to sample it.
Oh yeah, please do. My
Who's doing
narrator,
your audiobook?
narrator's name is AJ Bridell, and she has done all three of the books,
Oh, wow.
and I love her so much. And I recorded the back of the book stuff, so I recorded the acknowledgments and reader's guide,
Oh, okay.
um, which was very fun to do. Yeah, so I love audiobooks. You
And
know,
you
it's
do
fun.
that in studio in Toronto or?
Yes, yeah, we do that. We do that at the Penguin Studio in Toronto.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah. I'll tell you a funny story is that I've been listening to the Dutch House audiobook.
That was fabulous. Tom
Fabulous.
Hanks.
Tom Hanks. Tom
Yeah.
Hanks. And because I had him in my ears so much, Tom Hanks, when I was finishing the draft of this novel I'm working on, what I hear is Tom Hanks reading my book to me, and I'm like, oh
Right.
my God, this book is great. I'm like, is it great, or is it just because Tom Hanks is reading
Well,
it to me?
the Dutch House was a good book, but him reading it definitely put it up a level.
Oh, it's just divine.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's taken me so long to get to this book, and it's just been so fun to listen to it.
Yeah. What other books do you like to listen to? Do you have a specific genre you like or?
I am just all over the place right now. And like obviously love romance,
Mhm.
and but I'm just like don't read as much as I would like. I just haven't like most of the reading that I do is for blurbs now.
Right.
Um,
Yeah,
and
I have three great authors that blurbed you. Kylie Reed, Jennifer Niven, and Annabelle Monaghan. And
yeah,
Annabelle said, Carley Fortune has managed to dream up another entirely fresh, deeply laid, and beautifully written romance. Except this time the chemistry between Lucy and Felix could power all of Prince Edward Island for years. Clear your calendar and buckle up. This one will leave you breathless.
Annabelle, she's
Yeah.
very kind. Her next book is Summer Romance is tremendous
Yeah,
too.
I heard it's going to be great. I haven't gotten to that one
It's
yet.
good. Yeah, I love her. I love her as an author. I also just, we've never met. It's kind of a joke. Like I think of her as my big sisters in some ways. We've never met. And she was hoping to she bought a ticket to my Brooklyn event, but she just
Oh.
got scheduled into something else over it. I'm like, we were fated never to meet, but she is a wonderful human. She's a wonderful human and a
Well,
beautiful
maybe
writer.
one time the two of you could get together at one of the bookstores and, feed off each other and talk about
Yes.
books.
No, my preference is that we get together on a lake on the dock with wine.
Okay.
But we could
Okay.
pretend that we're doing that at a bookstore.
It'll be good too, just the two of you. Not no, you have to let your audience see you, the two of you together, because
Yeah, we
yeah, her
do.
books have been fabulous also.
Oh,
I've enjoyed her books.
amazing,
Mhm.
amazing.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. She's wonderful.
Yeah, no, her books, they well, like yours, we can't keep them on the shelf. So hers are another one that we can't keep on the shelf.
Love that.
Yeah, so this book will be on audio and also on ebook on Overdrive, and we'll also have plenty of copies, I'm sure, in print. So anyone who's listening, who's interested, please give us a call and we'll put you on hold for it. So you could be one of the first people to get it when it comes in May 7th. So
Wonderful.
yeah, we look forward to that. Do you read your reviews, Carley?
I do not read my online reviews. I used to.
Uh-huh.
And I've learned not to. Even like the positive ones don't outweigh how gut-wrenching some of the other comments are. And I am not thick-skinned. I've learned I
Okay.
am not thick-skinned. And so I try to stay away from that. If I get trade reviews, I read the trade
Okay.
reviews. I just got one today. So yeah, I'll if my team sends me one to read up, then I'll read
Which
those.
which journal did you get it from today?
Publishers Weekly.
Okay.
It was a starred review, so I'm
Oh,
feeling.
congratulations.
Thank you. That
And
was
I do library journal. So that's my, we each have certain journals that we do. So
yes.
library journal, but Publishers Weekly gave you a star. That's fabulous.
They
I'm so
gave
happy
me a
to hear that.
star, so I was pretty happy about that. It was a nice way to. It's Friday today, so it was a good.
Yes, no, of course, that's a good way to kick off the weekend. You can go
Yeah.
and have a nice glass of wine. You could go over to Lake Ontario and hang out. I went to college right across the lake, so
Oh, where did you go to
right on Lake
college?
Oswego, which was right on Lake
Okay.
Ontario. Yeah, right across the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful lake.
It's a big bucket of water. That
Oh,
was.
it's huge. It's huge. It's a lake you can't see across to the
Yeah.
other side. I mean, it's
Yes.
absolutely tremendous, but
Yes.
beautiful. I love being on the water, so it
Me
was a great
too.
thing. And that's why I love this book. The summer will be different on Prince Edward Island. It's definitely gonna happen. I'm gonna go.
Oh, you have to. And please read Anne of Green Gables.
Anne of Green Gables. Okay.
There's a new audiobook adaptation of it too, with Catherine O'Hara as
Oh,
Catherine O'Hara, Sandra Oh, Vincent Garber. So I think that's for your next audiobook.
okay. Sounds great. I'm definitely gonna look that up. Hopefully it's available on Overdrive. So
Yes, we'll
I will
see.
take a look and hopefully I could get it through there because you know what? The CDs are going, they're leaving. We don't
Yeah,
listen to anything on. I'm actually, matter of fact, I'm weeding the audio book CDs right now,
you
like
are.
cutting them in half. Yeah, because everybody's going to digital. Everybody listens through Overdrive right now in Libby.
Yeah, yeah. I know, I do too. Yeah,
Yeah, it's just so much easier.
it
And you
is.
buy a car, it doesn't have a CD player in it anymore anyway. And
No, it does
most of
not.
us who listen to audiobooks listen in our car a lot. So
Yes, it's true. It's true.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going away, but I haven't really listened to this one, but I will definitely, when it comes out, I will take a listen. And now that I know you did the last two things, I'll listen to
Yeah.
the first chapter and then I'll hop to the end and listen to your two things, which is great. So I thank you so much for speaking with us. It's
Oh, yeah.
good to talk to you.
It
And
was a pleasure.
congratulations on, I mean, I know what I want to ask you. Did you
Yeah,
have a book that you wrote before Every Summer After, or was that your very first book?
that was my very first book.
Wow, that's amazing.
It is, it is amazing.
Because
Yeah.
most authors I speak with, they always have a few hidden in the drawer that they don't want anybody to ever see. And
Yeah, that book was like, it was magic from start to finish.
Mhm.
Honestly, from writing to publishing, it was just a special, rare thing. Um,
Was there a bidding war for it?
there was, yeah, yeah. So it just poured out of me. I wrote it in 2020. I needed that book. That book saved me in so many ways. And when I started it, I was like, I'm doing this. And I was doing it for myself. I wasn't doing it with the intention of publishing it. I was doing it because I wanted to prove to myself that I could write a book.
Mhm.
Um, and that's what I did.
And you did it so well.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. Any interest in films, movies?
Yeah,
Oh, good.
yeah, yeah,
Okay. Which
yeah.
one? All of them?
All of them.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Oh, that's fabulous.
Well, like nothing that I could like. I'm interested in all of them having, an adaptation.
Right.
Meet Me at the Lake is like that is the rights are sold for Meet Me at the Lake, and then
That's great.
don't have any other news I'm allowed to share. So.
Okay. That's fine. We will
Yeah.
look forward to reading about it in the trades.
Yes. Yes.
We
Yes.
certainly will. Okay. So have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you.
Congratulations on this start review. That's great. It's a great
Thank
way to
you.
start the weekend.
Feels good. Yes.
And
Yes.
everybody, this book comes out. The summer will be different. May 7th. Please get your reserves in because all you Carley Fortune fans are going to want a copy. Like I said, it's my favorite of the three. So,
Thank you.
Carley, thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure.
Okay, thanks. Have a great weekend, everybody. And this is closing the chapter on Turn the Page.
It's time to close this chapter of Turn the Page. Join us for the next episode.